Welcome to another episode of The American Dream, the only show of its kind going against the grain of all that negative nonsense that you see in the media. Well, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage the mindset of your American dream. Throughout this week, we've compiled some awesome interviews, national guests that I know you're going to absolutely love, but also in every market that we launch this show, we integrate local market advice from your own backyard. Great show lined up for you. Let's get it started right now. Every single day, you are consumed with information. With the 24/7 negative news cycle and a pop culture that's polluting the airways, all selling out for the ratings game. Well, guess what? There's a more positive way to look at life. You live in the greatest city in the greatest country on the planet. Every day with our elite network of professionals, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage. And now it's time to fight for your American dream. Now for the word on the American dream. In 48 hours, more content is created than the history of man up until 2003. What a fascinating time that we do live in. Really fine line, though. On the one side, you got to love the connectivity of online social media. You can connect with people you went to high school with, friends, family. You can even start a business online without even interacting with real people. That's kind of cool. Saves you a lot of time. Time's our most valuable asset. On the other side, I think people are going crazy. There's an obsession with our laptops, with our iPhones, and you got to be really careful, especially if you're parents out there. So what a fascinating time that we live in. I think that it's the best opportunity in the history of mankind to aggregate attention, build business, and keep a storyline of yourself online and connect with others. But we got to be really careful that you still got to get outside, right? You got to get outside, meet with people. I just mentioned business. All business is relationally driven. So don't ever forget how important real life, real relationships are. But today, we're going to be talking about that digital world. Let's start the interviews right now. In a digital world, this is an absolutely fascinating topic. You heard of Bitcoin. We're going to go deep on this, and we're going to go quick. We got Ty Zen, CEO of Cryptocurrency Market. Ty, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us here.
David Fong, you are the COO. So CEO, COO. You guys just said to me coming into the show that you believe we're on the verge of the biggest bull market in the history of humankind. That's a bold statement. Why do you say that?
Absolutely, we say that, and we have a firm belief about that on our team, simply because Bitcoin this is the first time in human history that the playing field has been leveled for Main Street. So now the little guys like us on Main Street can have the same profit potential and the same gains that the guys on Wall Street have been doing for decades now.
How is that?
Because Bitcoin is a permissionless.
That's probably the first question I should have asked for anyone who doesn't know. What is Bitcoin? I mean, we've heard of it. It's a currency of some sort, like an online currency?
Yeah, it's an online. Bitcoin is a technology. It's a public ledger technology that anyone can access and read it themselves if they have the correct software, which is easily downloadable from bitcoin.org. And what happens is when you access that ledger, you think of Bitcoin as a public network, like the highway network. It's called Bitcoin, and the cars and the vehicles that move through that network is also called Bitcoin. And the traffic laws that govern how those vehicles can move through the network are also called Bitcoin. That was the confusion that Satoshi Nakamoto created when he first invented Bitcoin and released it to the public. And right now, those vehicles that are moving around the network are being used as a currency because it's the most secure way on the planet right now to move units of a currency around. Much safer than the euro, the pound, the yen, or the US dollar.
So how does this help the average guy or gal out there?
Well, there's only a limited number of Bitcoins that are available on the planet right now. There will only ever be 21 million units ever created, right?
Well, with that, you can have a value assigned to it.
Yeah, you can assign a value to it, and each Bitcoin, I want your audience to know that each Bitcoin can be chopped up into 100 million units. And so you don't have to necessarily buy one Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin, you can buy a fraction of it.
Ty,
right?
do you understand why this is confusing to people?
Yeah.
Why do you think we're on the verge of the greatest bull market?
It's the greatest bull market is because of the limited supply. There's only 21 million. The more people that use it, the value of it can only go up. So if you want to get it, right, there's only a limited number of supply. It's not like the U.S. dollar where they print new U.S. dollars every month or every year.
Beyond that, for human history, you talk about bull markets. There was the tulip boom. That was isolated in Holland, right? We've had our stock market booms, the internet boom, but this is the first time that across the entire globe, everybody, China, Japan,
global,
Russia, right? And people are interested in this asset class that is a limited supply, serves an incredible need.
Globally, so does it kind of go across currency lines where you have different currencies of different countries? This is 21 million global.
Yes.
Global.
Yeah, and it's not restricted. Like, for example, like the U.S. dollar is dominant across the world right now.
Yep.
But there are still some countries, like I come from Vietnam, and there's still people that they can't send money out from Vietnam. Like they want to trade the American stock market, they cannot come and buy Apple stocks. The government won't let them, right? I used to talk to Forex brokers. I used to trade Forex, and the Forex brokers, when I asked them, hey, how come you guys don't have a Forex brokerage firm or a currency brokerage firm in Vietnam? They say because the government there won't let people put money into it. So with Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if a government or authority gives you permission or not, right? You can access the Bitcoin network. Everyone has access to it.
What do the governments think of Bitcoin?
Right now, there are some governments that are hesitant about it.
Let's talk about the U.S. government.
The U.S. government, I don't have any evidence that they are for it or against it. I know that our securities lawyer in Dallas, he commonly sends us information about what the SEC is doing. They created a task force to pay attention to this, and they are looking at it, to make sure. They're not trying to stop it. They're trying to make sure that everybody follows the rules and the government guidelines.
Real quick, got about 20 seconds. But tell us about your organization. You're the COO. Go ahead.
So we are the first and most popular YouTube crypto investing channel.
That we know of.
That we know of. That's right. So we basically want to educate people. We started out just trying to tell people about what this innovation is, why it's revolutionary, and that was just our friends. And instead of just having these one-on-one conversations, over and over again, we put it up online, and we said, hey, go check that out. You have any questions? Give us a call.
So now you guys have basically got your own information channel on YouTube where people can get more information on this. And let's part with that. If you have questions about this, if you're an investor, if you're just an everyday guy or gal out there and you want to learn more about this new wave happening digitally with currency, it's really a fascinating topic, and it's only going to get bigger. Check these guys out on YouTube, and more of the American Dream coming up next. Welcome back to the American Dream. Today we're talking about the impact of that new world of digital, which can mean a lot of things, but online, social media, it's just a crazy world out there. I don't think there's anybody to come in the show and talk about it than Daniel Hindi, who's the CTO of Buildfire. What's up, man?
Thank you for having me on.
This topic is right up your alley, man.
Yep.
And this is your wheelhouse.
Yep.
So what do you think of the world we live in right now?
So as you can see, everything is becoming more and more digital, more and more artificially intelligent. And that's always a big topic nowadays with machine learning and deep learning and so on. And
what do you mean by that?
So you'll see a lot more topics coming up about machine learning. What does that really mean? It's basically trying to understand patterns that exist in our world. Right now, you look at a cup and you recognize that to be a cup, even though there's no solid definition for that. It's not necessarily glass, it's not necessarily cylindrical, it doesn't necessarily have a handle, but you've seen enough of them to recognize a cup. So what we're doing is we're getting computers to be able to have that same intelligence through machine learning. So great, so how do you work with that with business?
Yeah.
So what's a business application for that? You'll see a lot of image recognition, but also behavioral recognition. So for example, every business has a website. We have analytical data that tells us how long somebody's been on the site, what pages they go to, where they came from, and then post facto, we do the analysis. With machine learning, if you gather enough sample data of previously visited behavior, you can tell before the user leaves the site whether they're going to convert from a user to a customer. And let's say it's a negative outcome, you can give them a promotion, you can change the pricing, you can take them to a different page, you can try to modify their behavior.
It's just going to become scientific from a consumer businesses selling to the consumer.
Absolutely, and it's going to become much more retail, where the small guys can compete in this market as well, as you see emerging SaaS companies offer this to e-commerce platforms and so on.
So for the people watching, is this going to be something that's become more annoying or more efficient? You know what I mean? Like you mentioned pop-ups. Sometimes you go online, you just want to find something, some information. Next thing you know, you're on an email drip campaign. It drives you nuts. You got to unsubscribe every day to keep your email inbox from blowing up. Do you think that this is going to make things better for people or even more annoying?
There's two sides of that coin. I mean, you can see from anything from push notifications to drip marketing campaigns on email. People who abuse it, there's a negative effect. People are just going to unsubscribe and leave. So finding that fine balance. With machine learning, you're not going to see it coming. Because you haven't seen the other possible outcomes. You just saw your outcome. So it's going to be a little bit more incognito.
Interesting. Now, you talked about artificial intelligence. What about virtual reality?
So with virtual reality, you're going to see a lot more application for that in the utility realm. Right now, everybody's thinking retail, which is great in games and helping people shop and get an experience, a virtual experience. Well, with utility, if I look at a particular engine and see a virtual representation of it and see the flaw in it without having to dismantle it, there's huge ramifications for that and cost savings in the utility.
Where are we at in 5 years? What's it going to look like? When I'm interviewing you on this show in 5 years from now, are you even going to be sitting here? Is it going to be a hologram of Daniel Hindi?
You'll see a lot more augmented reality where the bleed between the digital realm and the real world the lines will start blurring. Wearables will be a lot more sleek, less noticeable. Voice is going to be big. Everything is now watching us. Well, now everything's listening into what we're saying and how we're saying it. And unfortunately, you're going to see a lot more ads, subtle ads, come your way.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, that's what drives it, right? Is the money behind it, the revenue?
If it's free, that means you're the product.
Yeah. Very good. Buildfire, you guys are actually helping businesses build applications. I want to give you a nice endorsement here.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone going into the new year, who should be reaching out? Who's your ideal
You go to buildfire.com. Our artificial intelligence will pick up the right person to set you up with any business needs that you need in the digital realm, whether it's a mobile app, a back-end service, website, whatever it may be, we can help you with.
You guys are leaders in the space. Thanks for coming on the show. What a fascinating topic.
Thank you.
All right, man. Okay, more of the American Dream coming up next. Joining us on The American Dream, he is a radio show host on ESPN. He's been a regular on our program. Eran, Sinai, the elite expert when it comes to this digital world. As it pertains to you as a consumer, things like identity theft and credit. Eran, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
How's a radio show? When am I coming on that radio show?
I think you're on January.
Is it booked?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay,
I think
good.
you even confirmed.
All right, good.
So,
you know what I want to talk about on that
Tell
show?
me.
Your Bitcoin story.
I don't know if
I
I'm
always do
ready
this
to
to you.
explain. That's embarrassing.
Come on, tell it, man.
Well, back in 2011, I'm not going to say how much, but it was about $1 for Bitcoin. I bought thousands of them, right? And
So you did just say how much.
no,
for anyone
a
who
few, not.
So Bitcoin was $1.
Yep.
You're a seasoned professional. You've done well in your life. You bought thousands of dollars worth. Okay.
Yeah, and then it jumped to 31, right? So I was very happy, and I thought I was on the right track.
Hit the register button. Cash out.
No, I'm waiting. I'm thinking I'm waiting.
He's getting greedy. Pigs get slaughtered.
That's right. And then Silk Road came up. A few other events in the world happened, and it crushed to $2. It went down to $2.
But you bought it $1. You're still up.
That's right. So, but at that point, I'm talking to a lot of financial experts, and I'm thinking, what do I know? I just got to listen to those that said that this will never work. And I literally freak out, and I sell every bit of it. So I doubled my money, but...
Hey, good job. What is Bitcoin now?
What is it, about $1,700? So figured a few thousand of Bitcoin times 1,700. I'm not sure I'll be sitting, I might be hosting you on my beach
resort. The island that you own, and you would move your radio show to be hosted from an island. It would officially become a podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, that hurts. I got my own Bitcoin story, but not that bad. And we don't need to share mine. So we're wrapping up here, going into 2018. We'll help people be on the right track when it comes to their finances, things like their credit. Today we're talking about the digital world. What advice would you give to any of our viewers here today about protecting your identity, optimizing your credit scores? What advice can you give?
You know, it's a great point. I think we always focus on the bad things and the negative, right? Because unfortunately, that's
the way of the world, right?
The way of the world. So on the positive side, look, we are in the digital world. We have a lot of access, more than we've ever had to anything we want. Take advantage of it. Go to confirm and check that you're all okay with your credit. Go pull a copy of your credit. Go make sure you're okay. Go to your bank and make sure that if you travel, alert the bank so whenever you travel, your credit card company knows you travel.
I've learned that.
You've learned that, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not in a different state, they will stop charges. Make sure that you monitor your medical bills. It's the end of the year. Get a statement and make sure that all the charges of your medical are yours.
My advice to you would be pay attention.
Right.
Look at that credit report. Keep your bills. Be organized about this stuff, because when these things happen, you want to be prepared so you don't have to deal with the financial stress it can cause. You can visit Eran online. This is what they do. This is what they specialize in. IDCyberCenter.com. He's been coming on the show for so long now and helped so many people improve their credit scores, protect from identity theft, including me. I had an ID theft a couple of years ago. Smooth sailing with you. Eran, Sinai, cheers to 2018, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Same to you. Thank you.
All right, more of the show coming up next. So you just watched all these national interviews, but on a show called The American Dream, of course we got to dive into the real estate market. We have handpicked the best top producing realtors in your market to give you advice out of your own backyard. Let's go see what they have to say. All right, now for some more market advice coming out of Nashville, but we're going to get really niche-y here on just advice for you if you're an investor or maybe a first-time home buyer, a millennial. Joining us on the show again, she's an award-winning realtor, Shelly Dawson. Shelly, good to have you on the show.
Thanks, it's great to be here again, Craig.
And we got your partner in crime there, the finance guy, Jordan Heatherly with Churchill Mortgage. Good to have you on the show as well.
Thanks for having me, Craig.
You know, I think it's easy to talk about dream homes and all the cool stuff that comes with real estate, but you got to remember, to buy a house, you need the financing. So, Jordan, you're a really important piece of the puzzle. So, after we dive into this investor stuff, I want to ask you a couple mortgage questions. But, Shelly, starting with you, let's talk about people moving to Nashville, the millennial generation. I made clear that I absolutely love that city. What do you think the main attraction for that generation is?
Oh my goodness, there's so many attractions for millennials right now. You know, everyone loves the live music. We have concert venues everywhere, sporting events. You can go to a football game, baseball game. Of course, our Predators. Who doesn't love our Predators? And then now we're going to have even professional soccer. And of course, we have yummy food. You can get anything from Southern cooking to go get a great five-star dinner or food off of a food truck. We also have the watering holes that everyone loves. You can go anywhere from a rooftop bar to a pedal tavern and have fun around every corner. We've got a thriving business community, which means that millennials can find jobs here, affordable housing in walkable neighborhoods, in those urban neighborhoods that they can walk around and enjoy themselves without having to get in the back seat or in a car. There's just so many things, housing and low cost of living comparably to most other major cities.
Certainly where I'm talking to you from here in California, the affordability I know is terrific there, certainly with low interest rates. So Jordan, let's just speak to the millennial generation. A lot of these are going to be first-time home buyers. What advice would you give to a first-time home buyer? Someone who's just looking, it's a big experience for them, it's kind of emotional. You're talking about a mortgage, which is a debt. What advice would you give to someone getting into the market on the finance side?
I think the biggest thing is just to be prepared. I think a lot of people go into that transaction not knowing what to expect. So I think asking a lot of questions is really important, and just making sure that you feel really comfortable with what's going on. It's a really important financial decision. It's something that obviously is going to be one of the biggest financial decisions you make in your life. So you want to make sure you make the right decision. So I would just say ask a lot of questions, feel prepared, and try to feel comfortable.
And take advantage of low rates. You could probably buy a house for the equivalent of what you're paying for rent, or at least close. Let's switch gears. Shelly, talk to me about investors. How is Nashville for that market?
Nashville is like the perfect storm for investors right now. We've got a lower cost of living than most major cities, lower property taxes, and actually more affordable housing prices than most major cities do. We've got a 6% population increase over the last year, and we're not anticipated to go down by any means. We have people flocking to Nashville for the obvious reasons. And right now, over this time last year, about a little over 9% increase in housing values, and for the next 3 years, they're forecasting another 24% increase.
Wow.
Which means for investors, especially if you're coming from California or something, for what you can afford there, you could buy multiple homes here, most likely. And we have a strong rental market, strong Airbnb market. So the forecast for a healthy potential return on investment is there for investors.
You know, you just made a really interesting point of the two things we talked about. We talked about millennials and first-time home buyers, and then you're talking about investors. Well, if you're investing in real estate, you're probably looking for somebody that's going to rent that home while it goes up in value and pays down your mortgage, helps you build equity. If you have this influx of millennials, some of them will be buying, some of them will not. When you have low inventory, seems like not only are you going to see property values go up, but you'll see rent prices go up as well. So makes a lot of sense. Shelly, I hope that our audience will connect with you online, whether you're investing or a first-time home buyer. Connect with Shelly. Of course, you're going to need to get financing in place as well. Jordan is the man with Churchill Mortgage. Great organization, I think so highly of. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks, Craig. You have a great new year.
It comes with two. It's a 1-2 punch. Either you get your financing in place and you need a great realtor, or you meet the great realtor and you need to get the financing in place. Either way, they're two very important pieces of the equation. Looks like there's going to be a great market to buy in 2018 with low rates. Hope you take advantage, and those are two great experts to connect with. More of the American Dream coming up next. As you know, the American Dream is a national show, but we bring in local market integration and expertise. Coming out of one of my favorite cities, he's an award-winning realtor. Got to know him on a personal level. Brian Cournoyer with DeSelms Real Estate. Brian, good to have you on the show, man.
Thanks, Craig. Always good to be back.
Are you pretty bullish going into 2018?
Absolutely. Nashville, as you know, has been one of the hottest markets in the country the last couple of years. All these people are moving here, and people wonder, what's going to happen? 2018 looks strong. I think we're going to continue. We are slowing just a little bit, but we need to slow a little bit. But yes, strong into 2018 for sure.
With all these people moving into town, I'm sure we got a lot of potential home buyers. What would your advice be for sellers right now on getting top dollar?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a question I get a lot. So what I've got is I want to kind of rapid fire you through 7 things people can do to make your home look more expensive to get that top dollar. Because sellers still have that expectation, but the buyers they have a few more options now. So let me hit you with 7 things. Number 1, and this might sound simple, but paint. You need a fresh coat of paint through the whole house. And I'm not talking about a purple accent wall or a red accent wall. I want ivories, neutral colors. Nobody's ever not bought a house because the ivory just rubbed them the wrong way. Sure. Paint, make it fresh, all these things. Think model home. When you walk into a model home, what do you want to feel? Second thing, declutter. You're moving, good, start, get stuff out of there. Think model home. I want 1 focal point per room. Think a nice clean living room with a single vase with flowers. Think a clear kitchen with a strategically placed plate of cookies or something. Let people envision their stuff in there.
Got it.
Makes sense?
Yep. Keep us going.
How about fixtures? Update your fixtures. Have you had the same lighting fixtures for 10 years? Do they put out good light? You know, when you go into the retail stores, they have all that bright light that makes everything really look amazing and you want to buy it. That's what you want your house to feel like. Let people walk in and go, man, new paint, this place is clean, there's bright light, these new fixtures. I'm feeling like I could pay this top dollar for this house now.
And what I like so far are the things you're recommending. These are not expensive things to make investments into. I mean, we're still keeping the cost basis low. So that's 3. Keep us going. You mentioned 7.
Exactly. So I'll give you one more that ties into this that's low cost, which is window treatments. That means the drapes and the blinds. Do they work? Are they clean? Are they a nice solid color? Are they letting lots of natural light in? If they're not, get rid of them, fix them, get something that works when people walk in there. Let all that light in. Cool. The next couple things, they could cost a little bit of money, but they can be worth it. How about appliances in the kitchen? If you think a high-end home, you're thinking stainless steel, right? Well, what if your refrigerator's not or your stove is not? Think about replacing them. The refrigerator doesn't always have to stay with the home. It could go with you. So this could be an investment towards your next house, but it can get you more money on this one. Just something to think about. How about this one that doesn't usually get brought up? What about your garage door? Curb appeal, first impression of the house. Is your door a little bit worn? That might be something to consider spending some money on. So when people walk up to the house, think of those the nice wooden doors. They have the little carriage windows. All of a sudden you're thinking, oh, this is a nice house. This is fantastic. Think about something like that. Again, that can be a little more expensive. Last one, how about crown molding? If you don't have it, get it. Put it through the main floor of the house. It has a lot of perceived value. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Do it while you're painting. It'll go a long ways.
Well, a lot
so
of
those
this
are seven things that everyone can do.
No, that's great. And a lot of these things are going to appeal to the emotions of that potential buyer. And what I like about them is none of them sounded very expensive. So these are things you can do. It's going to increase the sale of your home. So essentially it pays for itself. So 7 strategies from Brian, award-winning realtor out of Nashville. If you want more information from Brian, connect with him online. I did hear we've had a hot housing market in Nashville, and you, again, are bullish in 2018?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of listings coming up. We've got a lot of buyers moving to town. And we are continuing to get above market prices at our firm. So
good
love
for you,
to talk
man.
to you.
Well, congratulations on all your success. Thank you for coming on The American Dream. Look forward to a big year with you in 2018, Brian.
Always a pleasure, Craig. Thanks.
Connect with Brian online if you're buying or selling. I have flown out to Nashville. I've vetted the best realtors that exist in that town. Brian is awesome, and you can see why just from this segment here. More of The American Dream coming up next.
Lawson Hardwick here with Churchill Mortgage. I'd like to shift to a very big pain point in Middle Tennessee right now. Homebuyers are struggling in this housing market. Inventory is low and competition is very high. Most homebuyers think that by getting a pre-approval, they're giving themselves a leg up in the home buying process. Quite frankly, that's not good enough anymore. Churchill Mortgage offers the Certified Homebuyer Program, which positions you almost as if you're a cash buyer. Our program makes you more attractive to home sellers and often moves your offer to the front of the line. It is the next best thing to a cash offer. Not only does this help you shop with more confidence, but it can oftentimes mean your offer being accepted more quickly. If you're searching for a home, go to churchillmortgage.com today.
All right, that's all for today's show. I hope you enjoyed not only our national interviews, but you got advice out of your own marketplace. If you have any questions and you want to reach out, find us at AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. And don't forget, you can follow us on social media there as well. Love to hear from you. Thank you for liking and sharing our content. That is all for today. Cheers to your American Dream, and we'll see you next time.